Start trading crypto today. Sign up for our step-by-step video series to get set up with the best trading tools, start analyzing charts, enter and exit a trade properly, and most importantly, see if crypto trading is right for you. Join us at bitlabacademy.com.
Welcome to Archaix TVX.
You've just tuned in for the latest transmission of Stranger Than Fiction. Today I am joined by Jason Breshears from Archaix, and this is actually part number 2 of our interview. I encourage you to check out part number 1, where we get an introduction to Jason and his work with Archaix. I encourage you to watch that before you proceed with part number 2. Today, we're going to be discussing predictions based off of Jason's research. We're going to be getting into the year predictions for 2022, going into 2023 and beyond.
Before we get into it, visit archaixtvx.com and sign up for my mailing list so you never miss an update or new Archaix TVX content. You will also find my various social media links and more. You can also find Archaix TVX on Odyssey and Library, where I have a full catalog of my videos, post up extra content, and share other appearances. And you can also find Archaix TVX on BitChute. Get your free half ounce of silver. Take full advantage of my partnership with Money Metals Exchange in 5 easy steps. 1. Visit moneymetals.com. 2. Be a first-time buyer. 3. Purchase a minimum of $100. 4. Use the promo code RICE. 5. Get a free half ounce of silver, and it's an additional way to support the channel. I will include links in the video description for everything I just mentioned, as well as everything shared on today's video.
I am joined for part number 2 by Mr. Jason Breshears, the host of Archaix. Jason, thank you again, man. I appreciate your time. I just want to go ahead and kick right into it. People can check out the link down below for the first part of this conversation, where we kind of get to know a little bit about each other, and you fill in a lot of the blanks that I've had from checking out your channel. As I was saying in that first part, about 2.5 months I've checked into your work. But I don't think 2.5 months time, even if I was doing it full time, would be enough to be able to cover your work. So you mentioned when we first agreed to do a podcast together that you wanted to talk about some 2023 predictions. So I'm just going to go ahead and hand it over to you and go with the flow. And if I have any questions, I'll just kind of throw up a little finger, a little hand up, and maybe interject. But I'm definitely looking forward to hearing what you have to say. And I guess one thing I will mention is you did say something in the last video about February 2023 about a fake Carrington event. Would that be the kickoff of your predictions?
No, it'll be September 2023. Now,
September 2023.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had released a video about 6 months ago. That's probably where you got the February from. But I released a video about 6 months ago about a false Carrington event that's in the makings, that will be staged to take down the internet, to do whatever it is they're trying to do. Now, it's a very temporary takedown, just to bring back a new version of the internet, or bring back a version that is missing components that's probably not wanted on the internet by the deep state. So, but I had just released another video like 10, 11 days ago. I did a live video where I wanted to reiterate to my own channel, my own subs, that I'm still holding to that, even though there was a lot of YouTube talk and Facebook about September 23rd of this year, something major was going to happen.
And the 24th. So we're recording this on the 26th, and obviously we don't see
nothing happened. Which is exactly what I was saying, that this predictive programming that's been released in over 40 movies and television programs is legitimate. That is the subject matter of my video. But the problem is when somebody put this together and showed what all these movies are showing in all these clips about September 23rd, they started putting the data out in 2014 saying what's going to happen in 2014. Then 2015 came around, it still didn't happen. Then 2016 came around, it still didn't happen. So people were fed up with hearing it. And the whole idea about the predictive programming was basically lost. But that's exactly, it's a ritual. It's a Hollywood ritual. That's how they work. They work best once they're forgotten, but after they're already released into the holofield. So this is the same way the simulacrum acts for us all the time. If you hold on to something that you really want, you don't get it because you haven't released that energy. Once you have released that cerebral energy of attachment onto something, it becomes a projection and it's gone. Once it's projected into the simulacrum, which is a neutral field, it reflects that back as genuine circumstances that begin popping up into your life. And as long as your avatar is moving in that direction, those things come to pass. Hollywood is employing the exact same thing in their rituals of these data drops that are encoded in subliminal encodes that are in all these movies. So I released a video explaining, guys, nothing's going to happen September 23rd this year, at least not relative to what all these codes are found in these September 23rd references in these Hollywood movies. I said the actual event is September of 2023 is what they're all talking about. It's because what the subject matter of all these movies is. And I itemized that in my video. You can go to my video and see all that. I still hold 100% to that. It's next year when they're going to do this fake staged event for a Carrington event.
Now, what would be really interesting is if it does take place next year, as you're saying, and it takes place on the 23rd or 24th.
Oh, if it takes place anywhere in September, it would be interesting. It's just I don't know. I'm not convinced that the 23rd reference is the day. I'm thinking it's September 2023. But anyway, independent of the Hollywood deals, independent of all that, I didn't even know about the Hollywood subliminal implants. One of my viewers watched my original Carrington event about the internet takedown planned in 2023. My data sets for that are totally independent. They've got nothing to do with all these posts on YouTube and Facebook, and I show where I got my information from and how we mathematically conclude that, look, this is what they're planning on doing. Here's the effect right here. This is what they're going to do. When I released that video called the False Carrington Event, I got a lot of emails from people telling me, saying, hey, these movies say this, and then somebody sent me a full list of 33 movies that all encoded this. So that's why I released that video 10 days ago. 10 days ago, I released a live video. It's you can see the title. If you go up to my live videos, you will see Archaix 333rd video.
Yeah, right here. I got it in my
that
screen.
Video is where that video is where I explained to everybody, hey man, this is what's going on. This is going to be next year. It's not this year. So,
okay.
Anyway.
Now, if somebody's listening to this and they didn't watch part one, I'm going to tell you at least, and you're not familiar with Jason and Archaix, you need to watch part one to at least get somewhat caught up with where we're at with the conversation, and then you need to dig into Archaix research.
Okay,
I'm sure there can be some people. I'm sure you get it. People coming in for the first time, and there's like,
I get it all the time. I get it all the time. So. Let's give these predictions a little context. I don't want to show, because on my channel, I like to show people where to get the data or how to derive the data. I don't want to tell them. So check this out. I released a series of videos. I used Trump's life as an example. I released a series of videos on my predictions playlist where I show that if we take the year 1998 as an isometric epicenter, which holographically we can use the metaphor of a pool of water. The center drop is the year 1998, and the ripples that go forward and backward in time from that drop are the actual years. Like the year after is 1999, but the events of 1999 largely parallel those of 1997, which is the year before 1998. And then 1996 was 2 years before 1998, but the year 2000 was 2 years after. And when you look at the structuring of major events, when you look at them isometrically like that, it is phenomenal what you see. It is so phenomenal that other channels are now employing that method to basically verify the Archaix data, showing, look, man, this is what we found. Here, we did the same method. I've got people all over the world sending me emails using the exact same method on their own hometowns and just local news, and it's blowing their minds. So This is what I did. I used Donald Trump's life, and I showed that going back and forward in time, everything that Donald Trump did in his life from the time he was born all the way up to the year 1998, then crossing over to the years after 1998, equidistantly measured across, if it's 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, it absolutely mirrors in concept what Donald Trump did or experienced on those years before 1998. If it was 8 years before 1998, then 8 years after 1998, Donald Trump was doing the same thing. And this involved all his interviews with Oprah, interviews with politicians, people asking him when he was in his 30s, are you going to run for president? And then on the other side of the isometric deal, he announces his running for president. I showed about 30 parallels in Donald Trump's life that absolutely show that this isometric analysis is real. Then I show eclipses in America, and I show other world events, and not just Donald Trump, but I show many different things to verify the procedure. And then using that procedure, I've made several predictions that have come true.
So you're, like what you were saying with Donald Trump as an example is like and using 98 as the century year, if 6 years prior to 98, somebody asked him if he was going to run for president, then 6 years after 98, he runs for president.
On another show where they're talking about him just joking around about him being president. Yes, exactly.
Almost I'm talking like an as above, so below, but
yeah, but it's in time space. It's absolutely crazy. I'm not pretending to understand exactly why these mechanics work, but it comports with my thesis that we live in a holofield. And a holofield, in order to be a holofield, it's going to have structuring. The phenomena has to be measurable. We don't live in an absolute continuum. We live in a series of breaks. And those breaks are those little in between those breaks are when events are in motion. But those breaks are when we get to perceive things and do all that. We don't live in a real continuum. We live like a television screen. A television screen's like blinking 60 times per second, and you think that things are moving when you're actually seeing multiple different pictures that are just slightly changing. So yeah, time space is very, very different than we don't live in a confluence. We think we do, but we don't. It's truncated. But wow. anyway, so I showed the method, and many people have verified it, and it's very easy to understand. I even show visual charts. I even show all the actual newspaper articles and screenshots of the videos involving all these historical events involving Donald Trump, and then all the ones involving him again on the other side of the epicenter, 1998. I explained why 1998 was known by Edgar Cayce, and he predicted that the year 1998 is key to understanding the last days. I also show that the year 1998 has unusual properties like 666 times 3, and that is absolutely encoded at the entrance of the Great Pyramid of Giza. But that's a whole nother video. I have a whole entire playlist showing that the mathematics of the simulacrum that we live in right now is perfectly seen in the rectilinear dimensions of the Great Pyramid of Egypt and in no other pyramid. So that's another video. We don't even have time to get into that.
Right.
So when it comes to
that's why I want to have multiple conversations with you, my friend. I mean, because you have so much that we can go into, and I'm very fascinated by the research and want to know more.
Well, thank you. We can definitely do that. So using this method, I was absolutely convinced that when I started studying historical events, I was absolutely convinced that in 2020 we're going to see on 2020 we were going to see SpaceX launch SpaceX. It was a really big deal in 2020 for SpaceX to launch 2 astronauts in space. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. I run this construct and look at it, and SpaceX announces they're going to launch these 2 guys in space. I'm predicting 100% this is going to be a disaster. This thing's not even going to get off the ground. It's going to blow up. Here's where it went weird. SpaceX did not announce a secret launch of their SN4 at Boca. It's called the SN4 Starship. It launched the same day as they launched the 2 astronauts. So using this method of prediction, I saw a disaster and explosion caused by SpaceX. Now, the actual launch with the 2 astronauts, it went up according to SpaceX and according to the news. It didn't have a glitch. It went up. So I was frustrated the whole day. I was like, man, all these predictions get right and I get this one wrong. I don't understand. Is this all fake news? Did they not really launch anybody? So I'm really upset. But within hours, I start getting emails from people all over the world, and they're showing me footage and they're showing me YouTube videos of the detonation of how SpaceX Starship prototype SN4 blew up on the launch pad the exact same day I predicted the explosion for SpaceX deal. My prediction was correct. My interpretation was wrong because SpaceX only publicly announced one launch that day. So it just goes to show you that this is so fascinating how these things unfold. So the trucker convoys, I showed on my channel, I've showed many times that the trucker convoys of 1974 and 1975, they perfectly mirror what's happened in 2021 and 2022. Not just the trucker convoys, but issues about Watergate and going in and taking other political adversaries' files. They popped up again this year, just like they isometrically happened in 1974. So in 1975. So the isometric years of like this year right now, 2022, what is this, 2022? Yeah,
Yes, it
I
is.
lose track.
I think.
Yeah, I deal with cameras. I deal with calendars every day. So 2022, the isometric counterpart for 2022 is the year 1974. And we have already seen multiple events unfold this year that mirror 1974. But before we get to that, there was other things that I had used this system with, and I released videos on my channel, and those videos are still up for everybody to see. But I very clearly told, while all YouTube was doomsaying, while everybody was going completely nuts talking about this is the new norm, we're going to have to wear masks, we're going to have vaccine passports, we're going to have to do all these things. This is the new norm. It's going to be forever. This is how the elite are going to maintain their control. We're all going to get forced to do it. All this. While everybody was doing that, I released 2 videos saying the exact opposite. I said, I've run the algorithms, I have looked through the date sequence predictive analytics, and I've verified it with the isometric projections. And it's very clear that within 24 months, this is going to fade away. It's still going to be a thing, but it's going to fade away, and there's not going to be some massive force deal, nothing. You're not going to be wearing masks, and I promise you they're going to open all the restaurants back open. So
was there anything with as far as isometric years in relation to the 2020 pandemic?
Yes, in 1975, people were lining. You could see newspaper articles in black and white of people lining up everywhere to volunteer to get a vaccine. But it wasn't that. It was something else going on in 1975.
Okay. No, that's pretty interesting, because I was going to ask you how you did some of your predictions.
Yeah, you can Google that, and you will see black and white pictures of people lined up everywhere, volunteering to take that medicine from 1975. Just like you'll see it's amazing. You will see the trucker convoys in 1975 in the newspapers. You just Google it, trucker convoys 1975. It'll blow your mind what you see. The past is a predicate for the future, and one of the methods by which we can analyze this holography that we find ourselves in is isometric projections. And I've shown this over and over. It's not even a mystery to me anymore. But
that's pretty neat, though. I mean, I've never thought to look back like that, like where we are now, and using like
the only thing you need is an epicenter. Once you know which years provide isometric epicenters, it's nothing to predict future events. You gotta isolate the years first. Takes a little digging, but you can find them. So
do you have a way of predicting what the next isometric year would be?
What the next one would be?
I believe 1998 is the one that we're utilizing now, or that you're utilizing now. What can you like?
Okay, well, I know 1890 is one I've demonstrated. So is 1902, the last time Phoenix was here. So is 1962, which is on the Nemesis timeline. It was a whole different calendar. Then after 1962, the year 1973 provides us an epicenter. Somebody can get a computer program and introduce all these and program it exactly what I'm saying, and it would be amazing the output that such a program would do. I don't have any time to do that in my life. But
well, somebody's interested in helping with that, comment down below, and I'll get you in contact with Jason.
Yeah, that would be amazing what to do. But I don't believe there is another one in between 1973, 1998, and then from 1998 it's going to jump all the way to 2040.
And do you look at 2040 as being the end?
Oh hell no, absolutely not.
It's just
next time Phoenix is here, it's going to collapse. It's going to collapse the infrastructure of the elite.
Okay. So with your 2023 predictions, what are you foreseeing, I guess, based off of your prediction information for beginning of the year?
Okay, so I'm going to backpedal just a little bit because in prior videos, many of the things that I have said that was going to happen, such as I said, I mean, it's I really don't know which videos to refer to. My listeners do. They always sending me emails telling me about it. But I just recently, like a few months ago, released a series of videos saying that a member of the royal family was going to die in 2022 before Christmas. That's already happened. In the driest season of any Australian can tell you this, especially those who have seen my videos. But I did a video on Australia and I showed that while they were experiencing their driest season in 50 years, I was predicting using isometric projections that Australia is about to undergo some severe infrastructure collapsing floods in the wettest rain season they've had in a century. And it's exactly what happened to Australia. It's not because I'm a prophet. It's not because I'm supernaturally intelligent. It's because I'm just looking at the holography as it's laid out through isometric projections. It's all I'm doing is looking at events in history that are connected to 2022 and 2023. So those came to pass. Also, I had made a prediction on January 15th, 2021, I had made a prediction that inexplicably there are going to be fires erupting all over the Midwest of the United States of America, all the way up into Canada. And that happened too. And it's been covered up by the news a lot. They just call them forest fires. But I don't know if you remember, there was over a year period where thousands of neighborhoods throughout the United States were being burned. And it was so weird because the bushes and the trees weren't catching fire. Do you remember that?
When was this again?
This is in 2021, early to late 2021. A lot of people were talking about it was DEW energy. It was DEW weapons, directed energy weapons.
Okay.
Whole neighborhoods were catching fire. They were evacuating whole areas, talking about it was a forest fire. But when people went back into those neighborhoods, all the buildings and all the vehicles were like melted, but there were bushes and trees with leaves on them, and they were untouched. Grass was right there untouched. It's only technological sophistication can do that. It wasn't natural.
You're not talking about California though. You're talking about Midwest.
No, California as well. Both sides of the Rockies.
See, yeah. I've heard about it with California where the fires were just, they said that the damage was caused by extreme heat that was beyond the heat that a fire like this would produce.
Yes, at the same time, though, plants only 10, 15 feet away were unharmed. And that's just, a lot of this was covered up, but there was a lot of people with boots on the ground that were releasing these videos, and those videos were getting taken down just as fast. But anyway, that was a prediction, too, about all these fires. Also, January 15th, 2021, also predictions about the border crisis that happened right after Biden took office. I also made predictions on January 9th, 2 days after Trump was removed from office. On January 9th, I released a video explaining that Trump's not going anywhere in American politics. He's going to be a very visible figure. While everybody was doomsaying, talking about now he's going to get locked up, now he's going to go to jail, now the Democrats are going to do this and do that. I didn't see that anywhere in the projections. In the projections, I saw Trump becoming a very public, visible figure. Now, and that's exactly what has happened. Hell, he's come to Texas twice. He's been doing rallies everywhere. Hundreds of thousands of people have been watching him. He's been very, very visible in the United States, but the media is not covering any of that. So that prediction was right as well. But there was a lot of them on my channel. We're going to skip over to later this year now. I don't want to go itemize and just go through all these. They can see them on my channel and judge for themselves fact from fiction.
Well, let me ask you, Jason, real quick. Would you recommend that people want to check out the past predictions and what you might have predicted for earlier this year to go to the predictions isometric analysis playlist?
Yeah, I would watch. I updated the older videos are like poorly done. The last 5 or 6 videos are recaps where I recap every single prediction. It's done like a bullet point presentation. It's much better.
Okay.
But yeah, there's the SpaceX deal right there.
Yeah, see that.
Yeah, they just didn't announce that they were going to do a second launch the same day. So the prediction was right. It was my interpretation that was in error.
Which makes sense.
Okay,
Why it would be like that?
It's crazy. So anyway, 2022 is not over with, but I've got a major prediction about 2022 that's going to start a domino effect that's going to lead into several other things that I've predicted. And one of those is that 2022 is a perfect mirror of 1974. And in 1974, it was the first time in American history that a sitting president was removed from office midterm. 1974 and 2022 are perfect isometric mirrors. I'm waiting for Biden to be removed before the end of the year right now.
And there is a lot of talks, and there's been a lot of talks about the 25th Amendment being utilized against him for that very reason. That was
I believe his own party's going to do it.
Yeah, no, that would have to be done because especially if he says that he wants to run in 2024, which originally he said he may run as a one-term president, but I know the rest of the Democratic Party, where they want to support him, they know that it's not in the best interest of the party to support him for future running. His situation is crazy, but it's interesting how you're the prediction that you're making and paralleling.
Oh yeah, well, Nixon was the only president ever in the United States that was removed midterm, and Nixon and Biden are going to parallel. I mean, even recently we had a foreshadowing of this when those files at Mar-a-Lago were removed. They were removed on the exact same day that the Watergate deal took off. So
that's interesting. That's interesting. Now, the other thing, too, just thinking about it, 74, we got off the gold standard in 71. So we were experiencing high forms of inflation, which is what we're experiencing today.
It's all going to reverse. I see another thing people have problems with is the entire world is doomsaying. But in my predictions videos, I'm telling just the opposite. I'm starting to see some good times coming for the United States of America and for other countries, especially our allies. I don't see all that doomsaying, and I do not follow the WEF, and I am not on board with the elite allowing people to basically broadcast what their intentions are. I believe it's all misinformation. I don't believe that the WEF or the elite will ever allow the populace to truly know what their agenda is. I believe that they are stewards and they are holding the power over the people so they can deliver it to someone who's coming back. But that's another video. So let's get to
you do mention that in the first part of the conversation, though, so people can refer back to that in that original conversation that me and you did.
Yes, no doubt. So check this out. On June 2nd of 2021, I had also used isometric projections to show that even though it was highly unlikely, I still put the prediction out because that's what I was seeing. But my prediction was that the United States of America is going to pull out of a foreign country under embarrassing circumstances. We're going to basically pull out of a war, but it's going to be embarrassing, just like we did on the isometric counterpart of pulling out of Vietnam. So 2 months later, we did, and it was highly embarrassing. It was Afghanistan, and we were embarrassed in the eyes of the entire world. Prediction was 100% accurate.
Yeah, not because we left some of our own soldiers behind too, which was
and civilians. We had civilian support that was left behind.
Yeah,
the media covered all that up. I don't believe all those people have returned either.
I don't believe so.
Yeah. So anyway, the end of this year. The end of this year is going to be a domino effect. And I believe it's going to start with an incident that's going to lead to the fulfillment of the prediction about a president being removed midterm. Now, I also see a new vice president who is absolutely a member of the deep state. Same thing happened in 1974. So,
well, real quick, I'm going to pause you on that because, and this will be interesting to look at in a few months, because a few people that I've spoken to about this 25th Amendment thing and when it occurs also state that it's a question is going to be brought into whether or not our current vice president was even eligible to be in that position.
right.
Which would make the next person in line beyond the vice president right now, currently in this state, like where we're at now in time in 2022, would make Nancy Pelosi that individual.
She's not going to be it either. Let me tell you why. I addressed that in a video. I show the isometrics of Nancy Pelosi. Listen, when you look at Nancy Pelosi's life isometrically, she was nothing in politics at all until 1975. 1975 began her whole political career. So isometrically, that means that 2021 virtually ended her political career. I don't think she's really doing anything in 2022 right now. I think something else is happening. But
well, she did say she was going to step down as Speaker of the House, I believe, after midterms.
Yeah, all it would take is a unforeseen event that none of us have even anticipated, and everything could change very, very rapidly by the end of the year. But yeah. I have other predictions for 2022 before we get to 2023.
Okay.
But one of the predictions that did come true, August 15th, 2021, I did predict that the U.S. Supreme Court, that somebody on the U.S. Supreme Court was going to retire or be removed, and that did happen. But and it's not every year. I mean, Supreme Court seats don't change every year. Matter of fact, they change very infrequently. So that prediction was very unique, but it was only because it's in the isometrics. But also the
meaning that equal number of years from 1998 to where you're talking, exactly. there was another Supreme Court justice that was removed or retired.
Yes, that was in the 1970s.
That is wild, though, just to think about how that would parallel.
I've documented many. I'm not even scratching the surface in this video. In my playlist, I document many. I even document some for 1902, showing that all the events of the American Civil War parallel World War II.
I smoke herb. I'm a big fan of cannabis, but I don't think I could do that around you. You would have me stuck somewhere.
Okay, in January of this year, another prediction I made was that there's a major shift in the political affiliation of Democrats in America. Many of them, millions, will secretly vote Republican this time. Let's see. I'm looking at my desktop right now. Let's go to. So after this change of presidency, I see a whole series of events going. I'm talking about rapid fire at the beginning of 2023. U.S. government is going to target big tech companies and break them up, or try to. Big tech monopolies will begin changing their names and losing legal fights with the U.S. government. I see a rise of nationalism in China against the Chinese Communist government. I see a deep state will remove many of their puppets as leaders of the nations to appease the people. I see the whole COVID deal being blown wide open, with people actually being convicted for conspiracy. I see a televised event. By the end of this year, I'm seeing a televised event watched by many. Suddenly, someone on the screen is going to commit suicide. It's going to shock everything, shut the whole program down. So I see a
live viewing of something.
A live televised event. Somebody's going to take their life.
Wow. Okay. And that's in early 2023 that you're saying?
No, it's in this year, 2022.
Okay. Cool. So we haven't got 2023 yet. Okay.
So I'm seeing a Canadian leader will be removed from office in 2022, and it's going to be a surprise. I see there's going to be a huge push to produce oil in 2022, and this is going to bleed over into a very toxic political situation involving the OPEC nations in the Middle East, and in early 2023, there's a war going to start, and it's going to involve Israel, and it has everything to do with the United States now producing its own oil. Let's see.
We got enough
Oh, yeah,
of it.
I see U.S. enforces. Oh yeah, we've been capping oil wells since the 50s, but U.S. enforces new voter laws in 2022. That could happen in November or December.
Let me ask you,
US,
since you're mentioning it, and I don't know if you looked at this, but there's also been some people that have been speaking about the midterm elections may not go down as expected because
right.
of what took place in the last election. Have you looked at that? Is there any isometric data that would reflect on that?
Well, I'm seeing it right here that there's a big deal about elections reform and elections laws in 2022, and it's right here on my list as far as those things.
Well, I know that Biden apparently, I don't know if it was this year or if it was last year, there was an executive order that had to do with mail-in ballots, and that the post office has extended out, and they have a division that's completely devoted to that. So I don't know if that would have anything to do with that.
I don't know, but I don't see this election going down anything like the last election. I don't see, all the things they got away with, and now that the movie 2000 Mules is out and people have been watching that left and right, I just don't see that. I see that there's going to be some heavy oversight.
Okay, I was just curious.
Anyway, in this year of 2022. I don't know if it's already happened yet or not, but my prediction going back to January 21st is that Russia will either threaten or detonate nuclear weapons in 2022. That prediction's 10 months old or 9 months old. Before the end of the year, there'll be plans for a new financial system that will be widely publicized, but I think it's going to meet great resistance. Nuclear scare event involving several countries in 2022. That's an independent prediction. I don't know if that's still connected to the Russia deal.
What did you say prior to that one? A financial system?
Yes, plans for a new before the end of 2022. It's going to be widely publicized. Plans for a new financial system, but I think it's going to meet great resistance and peter out.
Okay.
Now,
I just wondered if that has anything to do with like your CBDCs and things like that, especially with Biden's executive order 14067, which has to do with the responsibility of digital assets, something to that effect, which talks about the introduction of a CBDC, which some people imply could be ushering in a social credit score system.
Yeah, I just don't know. These are vague. These are kind of general. The nuclear.
No, I get it. I'm just trying to add something, some value to what you're saying that's comparative to some of the things that I've seen.
Okay, so I see before the end of 2022, there's also going to be a major push by the media, but I think it's already going on. Some of these predictions they cover periods of time. They're not like little individual events you can just really cling to. Some of them are phenomena that are occurring over months, like this one here. A media push throughout 2022 to push the alien invasion scenario and put it on the public's mind. This was a prediction from back in January too. So I've already covered the floods in Australia. I've already covered the fact that a member of the royal family will die. That happened. The U.S. produced. Okay, so moving into 2023, we have two major events happening in 2023 that are significant. One of them is in September of 2023 is the internet takedown. And I used to think it was going to be when I released my first video about it and I showed all the calendrics, because I show a lot more than isometric projections. I use full date sequence predictive analytics and show why I believe that September 2023 is when the elite are going to do an internet takedown. I was thinking they were going to blame an X flare, because they've been putting that a lot in the media, or nuclear EMP type related deal, because they put that in the media. But now I just watched a series of videos by Elon Musk, who I know is the deep state's poster child. He's the good guy that they've groomed people to believe in. And I just watched a series of those. Now I'm almost convinced that the internet takedown is going to be to get rid of an AI system that Elon Musk has been warning everybody about.
Okay.
So I believe that's going to happen. Now that's a major prediction for 2023. But the other prediction, and I've gone over this in many of my videos, my own listeners are familiar with this. Okay, in the past, 10 years, the leftist liberal collective in the United States and abroad have been given free rein to go as far left as they want to, unrestricted. All right? Well, in my own prediction videos, I'm showing that the beginning of 2023, the pendulum changes. And we're going to start seeing the far right take over. Conservatives will take over. The religious Reich will, I'm calling it a Reich. The religious Reich in the United States is going to be in full throttle. And we're going to see a return to the Noahide laws. We're going to see like porn sites get outlawed. We're going to see the Reich and the Christian Reich is going to go as far right as they possibly can, unrestricted. There's going to be no socialists or Democrats that are going to be left in power by January of 2023 that are going to be able to stop it.
We're going to hide laws.
We're going to go all the way to the other side of the spectrum. The United States is going to internalize. Not only are we going to begin producing our own oil, but we're going to remove assets from foreign countries that need to be back in America. We're going to pull militaries back. We're going to get out of other people's business. We're going to basically rebuild our own infrastructure. We're going to rely on our own economy separate from the rest of the world. And financially, starting in 2023, all of my predictions videos, I'm showing the United States is going to become an anomaly in the world. That's going to be an empire that's basically internal, the 50 states, and it's going to start house cleaning, but it's going to get out of control. Within 3 to 4 years, the religious Reich is now going to start legislating and prosecuting people for not really being American. They're going to change the idea of what American is. It's not just going to get religious, it's going to get racial.
Wow. Well, I mean, when you said the Noahide laws, though, I mean, this is something that I've kind of looked into, for several different years. I mean, if we went into it, this is almost really kind of similar to the Muslim Sharia law. There's a lot of similarities in that, but I guess it would be kind of like what we would think about eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth kind of stuff.
Well, that's another prediction I have. That in 2023 there is going to be a purge situation, and it's going to be very real. You've seen the movie The Purge, right? And The Purge 2 and all that?
Yeah, but did you hear about the law that got passed in Chicago?
No.
It's basically, they're calling it a purge law, something to the effect of police are not even going to be able to respond to certain calls or the majority of any sort of criminal situation within 48 hours, which would mean somebody who was on probation, even restricted probation, could leave the state and they wouldn't be able to do anything for 48 hours. It's kind of alarming. I thought it was going to be an Illinois thing, but it looks to be isolated to Chicago. You can kind of look up Chicago purge law and get an idea what I'm talking about.
Well, I'm seeing,
and it's effective January. I think it's effective January 1st, 2022 or 2023.
Okay,
I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think
in my own projections, I really can't distinguish it from the false parenting event. So I'm led to the conclusion that it's a byproduct of the internet takedown, which is probably the internet and electric grid takedown. So you can imagine an 8-day to 2 week period when no one has access to the internet, when the power has gone out. What do you think is going to happen? Emergency services you don't even have the ability to charge your cell phone. So you can imagine what's going to happen worldwide when something like that takes place. It would be a purge. I mean, people are terrible. People are terrible.
Yeah,
this is coming from an ex-felon. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you. People are terrible. I mean, if AI was to be in control of everything and realize what the problem on this planet is, I'm sure it would think that we human beings are the problem. What this thing is saying about this purge law is it's called the Safety Act, and basically they're likening it to the purge. And it's part of it is eliminating cash bails, meaning criminals who commit misdemeanors or nonviolent crimes will be released after they are arrested and booked into jail. The aim of this legislation, introduced by the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus, would set free certain criminal offenders without having to wait in jail for their court date because they can't afford bond. There's a little bit more than that, but there's a lot of information that's trying to say that the purge law is not accurate. Legal experts have said the description of the new law as a purge law is not accurate. But if you really look at what this thing contains and what it's going to allow for, it's allowing for the acts of violence, which is really crazy when you think about what's taken place with in California, with them allowing for people to just theft is fine now. It's like completely accepted.
Yeah, I know it is crazy, but you know what? The left has been allowed to do that. They've been allowed to go as far left as they can and do whatever. But I'm telling you, the pendulum is about to change. It actually started. I've got emails from people saying that your predictions already showing evidence of fulfillment in the Supreme Court ruling overturning Wade versus Roe. So it's we got,
yeah, that's, I mean, yeah, well, in saying what you said with the far right, that makes sense. I was looking at more of like, I thought we were giving states back their rights, but
no, I'm not talking about 10th Amendment issues where the states start enjoying the rights that they were supposed to have from the beginning. I'm talking about basically, we're going to have people ruling this nation who actually believe they are allied to God, and that's a very dangerous problem, because that mentality, that type of people. I'm not just talking about ordinary good cream of the crop, backbone of America Christians. I'm talking about Christian leaders have often, over and over and over, justified the most heinous acts because they believe that they did God's service. And it's going to get, we're going to see
look at the Crusades and stuff, man.
we're going to see the exact opposite of what the leftist liberals have done, but it's going to be just as bad. But it's not going to be immediate. I'm going to tell you now, 2023 and 2024 probably be pretty good. Americans going to be all patriotic, all kinds of good things happening. All this doomsaying's over with. A lot of people who were supposed to get punishment, it looks like they're getting prosecuted and punished. But it's all the deep state changing one arm of the deep state out for a whole nother series of puppets. But they're just all they're doing is keeping different collectives occupied and happy. And so they've even made Democrats and liberals hate the Biden administration. That's how good they are at this. So they're gonna flip the script. We're gonna go the other way, and because America's very, very powerful and other nations can't do what they want to do if we intervene, we're gonna internalize, and it's all by design. And once we do that, a lot of things are gonna start happening in the rest of the world.
When we stop being the world police, you mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
I mean, I can go into even more specifics. I don't think that the OPEC nations and a bunch of Muslim nations in the Middle East are just going to attack Israel. I think it's going to get weapons of mass destruction. I don't know if nukes exist or not. It's what the media tells me. I don't know, but I do know Moabs exist, the mother of all bombs. One gigantic bomb so big that all they can do is roll it on a damn deal out of a C-130 Starlifter. That's how big the bomb is. But they can put radioactive materials and radioactive waste in the bomb. So I don't know. Make a dirty bomb. I don't know if nukes exist because I haven't personally seen one. But it doesn't matter. It looks like it's going to be weapons of mass destruction war in 2023. It's not going to affect the United States, but it's going to affect the Middle East. And I believe they're going to attack Israel. And I believe Israel's going to use weapons that are basically going to take almost all of them out. I believe Egypt's going to get a hit. Syria, maybe North Israel might get hit a little bit. Jordan, but I'm convinced of it. 2023, it's going down in the Middle East, and it has everything to do with America minding its own business and internalizing.
Do you have any, like, when are you seeing this particularly happen within 2023? Do you have a timeline?
The first part of the year.
Okay. When you say first part of the year, are you talking about the first 3 months?
I can't get real specific because it's an amalgamation of all the different pieces that happened in 1973. We're mirroring the Yom Kippur War and what happened in 1973 when 5 or 6 different Muslim nations all clicked on Israel at the exact same time. It was a coordinated attack.
Okay. No, that makes sense. And I definitely don't want to get you down to like specific dates. I'm just trying to get an idea when you're saying first part, because I look at things from a business perspective. You have Q1, 2, 3, and 4, which are separate into 3 month, 4 sections.
Right.
Then some people split it up in half the year, 6 months, and then the other 6 months. So I would just kind of get it gauging as well.
I get that.
So how are you doing? I mean, I know, I think we're approaching the original time that we had talked about. I know I wasted a lot of it talking to you prior to. How much more information did you have that you wanted to go over? So I'm being respectful of your time.
Oh, it's as far as the predictions go. I mean, people can see that on my channel, and I'm working on a master list. I'm gonna put it on Podia. On my Podia, I have some free things for people to download. I'm gonna put it on my Podia as a free download where they can see all 150 something predictions and the exact date those predictions were made. And I have other people that are gonna start filling in the blanks on that master list, putting in the dates when something has come to pass and organizing it, because it's a lot. I mean, 30 something prediction videos, it's a lot to get through. So I have to produce this list. I have no fear. I have no fear about being wrong, because this type of research is very interesting, showing that there are patterns in the holography. And when they do come true, they're so specifically related to the past, they're undeniable. So it's really just an exercise. It's a fascinating study. I've been doing it for a long time. I've got a lot of people following it.
Awesome. Well, all right. So I guess this is a good place for us to go ahead and wrap up this this video. And again, man, I really appreciate your time. I'm gonna make sure I have links down below for your YouTube channel so that people can check it out if they're not already subscribed. To go subscribe at Archaix. This will be linked down below. Also, Archaix.com, where you can get all the information on all of Jason's research. And then if you want to be able to purchase or even get some of the free information, the downloads, that'll be available on jasonbreshears.podia.com. And then if you want to support Jason, I'll have information down here, down in the video description for buymeacoffee.com/Archaix so that you can support him directly. Before we do wrap up, do you have anything that you would like to add to the conversation? And then also, would you like to explain to people a little bit about what they can expect to find on your YouTube channel and your websites?
Well, my YouTube channel is bifurcated between two messages. One of them is, it can be toxic. I mean, I'm going to tell you the truth about the history of the world. I'm going to show you the mathematical construct. I'm going to demonstrate it for you. And a lot of this is not easy to take in. I'm going to show you the parallels that we're expecting to happen in the future, which have already happened repetitively in the past. But at the same token, I have so many people that are loyal to the channel that watch videos multiple times, because I have a very positive message as well, that we're living in two different realities at the same time. One of them is the collective, and the collective goes through all these harrowing things. The other one is highly individualized. It's a spiritual singularity. It's you. You are an informed field, and while you have an intimate relationship with the simulacrum, you do not have to maintain any relationship or connections with the collective. It all depends on you. And I show in my channel how you can divorce yourself from the collective to be an informed field that can actually use and benefit from the builder protocols that are accessible to us. So I have two messages on my channel.
Okay, and then obviously this is where people can see videos and stuff. But if they want to get all your research and everything that you're doing in one collective spot, that would be archaix.com.
Yeah, my website was specifically designed to, you can spend days there just reading stuff, but it also has links to everything I'm involved in.
You can get lost. You can definitely get lost. And I would encourage people, that are checking out your research to try to focus in on some areas. I wouldn't say start in on watching some stuff about AIX and then just jump into the lost secrets of Giza. I would try to keep these things as contained as possible. And that's another reason why I do recommend that you check out the playlist section specifically over on Archaix's YouTube channel. And then again, if you're interested in purchasing any of his work, and there's also some free information for download, that'll be over at jasonbreshears.podia.com. And then again, if you want to support Jason, check out Buy Me a Coffee. Do you have any final thoughts? Anything else you want to add?
I'm good, man. I enjoyed this, and yes, we will definitely do another one.
Okay, cool. I appreciate that. Bear with me 1 second. Just going to do the wrap up and stop recording. So,
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for tuning in. If you did happen to watch all of this video without checking out the first part of the conversation, make sure you're checking out part one. This is a two-part video with my first interview, first introduction conversation with Mr. Jason Breshears with Archaix. So thank you again. Make sure you guys are subscribed to both of our channels. I would encourage you to hit the notification bell, because then you will be alerted when videos come out. Now, I can't say that specifically for sure about your channel, Archaix, but what I tell people is hit the notification bell, because sometimes YouTube might notify you when my videos come out. And I will leave you with this. I encourage you to be a blessing to others. Treat people how you want to be treated. Be the glitch you want to see in the matrix. Be the change you want to see in this world. Do that with practice change. Much love.